Hi folks, today we're going to talk about the creative matrix. I'm Altemus, Program Director with the Consortium for Public Education. What is a creative matrix? A creative matrix is a method for brainstorming many solutions to smaller chunks of a larger challenge. A creative matrix pairs questions or challenges with specific resources to spark new ideas or solutions. Here you can see the creative matrix with problem statements paired with resources or enablers, generating unique ideas in each quadrant of the matrix. But let's dig into the details. As part of the design cycle, the creative matrix is part of the ideate phase of design. Imagine you're facing a really big problem, and when you think about this problem as a whole, it seems like too much to tackle, or you may not know where to even begin. A creative matrix can help brainstorm many smaller ideas to take a bite out of the larger challenge. So how can this method help? A creative matrix can spark thinking by focusing on smaller challenges within the larger problem. Mixing and matching challenges with a variety of resources facilitates more unique ideas, and yields many ideas that can be combined, remixed, etc. Now here's the process. Step 1. Break the larger challenge into smaller questions. For example, imagine that you are engaging with this question. How might we redesign our school to better meet the needs of our students? This is a huge question, but we can break it down into smaller how might we questions. For example, how might we work with our communities to expand learning? Or how might we make learning more interesting and exciting? Or maybe, how might we make school more inclusive of all students? Step number 2, choose your resources or enablers. This part can be tricky. So here are some common resources or enablers. People, partnerships, and organizations. Technology, apps, and social media. Rewards and incentives. Places and spaces. Or, if you're trying to solve an education-related problem, like our example, you might explore an enabler for teaching strategies, or school-building resources such as technology, courses, programming, or school stakeholders, teachers, principals, parents, students, board members, etc. Now, step 3, prepare your matrix. Depending on your challenge, you can design a matrix that fits your needs. Might do it just a simple 2x2 matrix. 2x3 if you have multiple enablers but only 2 smaller problem statements. 4x2, many problems and just a few enablers. 3x4 or 4x4. You then pair problems with the different enablers to generate new ideas, just like so. So let's revisit our school example. We start with our broader challenge at the top. How might we redesign our school to better meet the needs of our students? Then below, we have our 2 smaller how might we questions. And on the side, we have our resources and enablers. In this case, school building resources and people and partnerships. As you can see here, I've also included what we call thinkabouts. Just some examples to get your brainstorming participants thinking about what might be covered underneath each of these enabler categories. It's a good way to help spark thinking. Now, step number 4, set guidelines for your participants. We recommend setting a time limit for posting ideas, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, asking participants to work silently, saving any questions for after the session is over, and trying to add an idea to every quadrant. This is a great way to gamify the brainstorming process and really push your participants to add as many ideas as possible. Step number 5, start brainstorming ideas. So, if we pair our first challenge statement, how might we work with our communities to expand learning, with our enabler on the side, which is school building resources, perhaps we come up with an idea about creating a community resource center, or doing video interviews with alumni. Now let's expand. We keep the same challenge statement, how might we work with our communities to expand learning, but now we look at the enabler for people and partnerships. Perhaps we think about doing a new mentoring program. Now let's look at that other challenge statement. How might we make learning more interesting and exciting? If we pair that challenge statement with our school building resources, perhaps we come up with starting a new tech business that students can try as entrepreneurs, or developing new service learning projects. And lastly, if we explore the challenge statement, how might we make learning more interesting and exciting, paired with people and partnerships, perhaps we come up with doing job shadows or taking class trips to spaces in the community. Step number 6. Once brainstorming is finished, explore your ideas. Take time to ask questions, discuss ideas, or look for possible combinations. So perhaps we explore a mentoring program paired with job shadows. Or perhaps we combine that tech business idea with the service learning project. You can also use a creative matrix to break down problems for multiple stakeholder groups. For example, say we're exploring a broad question of how might we design future-ready programming in our district, but we break it down by stakeholder group. So we say, how might we design future-ready programming for K to 5th grade students, for 6th to 8th grade students, and for 9th through 12th grade students. We then add our enablers on the side, people and partnerships, and teaching methods. And we use each element of this matrix to come up with a new idea. For example, reading this as, how might we design future-ready programming for 6th through 8th grade students using teaching methods such as classroom strategies, pedagogy, education trends. And maybe one of the first ideas that comes up is career research for students. Or maybe exploring project-based learning. The creative matrix can generate a lot of ideas. If you need to choose from your ideas, we recommend these design methods as possible next steps: dot voting, the bullseye framework, or the importance effort matrix. If you're trying to decide whether to use the creative matrix in person or virtually, if you're working in person, we recommend creating a matrix on a whiteboard or large flip chart paper. How might we statements and enablers can be written or printed out and pasted on. Make sure to provide each participant with a marker and a stack of sticky notes for writing down and posting ideas. If you're working virtually, this method can be facilitated using a matrix table created in Google Docs or a shareable Microsoft Word document. Participants can then enter ideas as bullets in each section of the table. Here's an example of a completed matrix that was also created in Google Docs. Here you can see ideas added as bullets in each of the quadrants. To review, remember, the creative matrix can be used to break down a larger challenge into smaller, targeted areas for brainstorming. And keep in mind which kinds of resources are available to help address your challenge. Use those strategies for your enablers. Also, this method is best used as a way to generate many ideas during early phases of design. Because this is a divergent type of brainstorming, any and all ideas should be welcome. You should also feel free to combine ideas from multiple quadrants to create more detailed concepts and solutions. If you found this video helpful and you would like to learn more, please like and subscribe. Thank you.